shoe. What you want to look for in this foam here, as soon as you start seeing little creases forming in that foam, that's the first indication that it's starting to break down. The white foam, the EVA foam, will break down on its own. It starts degrading after somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 months to a year. So the useful life of the shoe is 300 to 500 miles or 6 months to a year. If you've got a pair of shoes that are a year old, it's time to get them changed out. It's losing all of its cushioning properties. Also in the midsole, what you'll find, this is where all the companies put all their kind of proprietary technology. So Nike puts their Nike Air, ASICS puts their gel, Brooks uses DNA, and then they'll also put, they'll put little things like Adidas has a plastic torsion bar in here, and things like that. Most shoes just come with a regular sock liner in it. There's really, no support, and it's something that's designed, if you need a custom insert, they're usually removable, but it's basically just a soft liner, which is just going to protect you from some of the seams that are in the shoe down here. And then you've got your upper, some sort of synthetic fiber. Nowadays, getting more breathable, a little bit lighter weight, and then yeah, that's basically the basic makeup of the shoe. So there's a couple different categories of shoes. We have stability shoes. Well, we have stability shoes. Within stability, we have a couple different ranges of stability shoes. You have kind of a light to moderate stability shoe, and you have what's called a motion control shoe. I didn't bring a motion control shoe with me because there's really not a lot of people that need it. If you've ever seen a pair of Brooks Bees, that's about the most motion control you can get in a shoe. It's almost a full pound shoe, and unless you're a severe overpronator with flash roll, most people don't need it. What you find, the easiest way to kind of know what a stability shoe looks like is to look for this section of gray foam in here. So, like I was saying, this white foam, this is EVA cushioning. This is very soft foam. This gray foam here is a dual density foam, so it's a little bit denser than what the white foam is. This is the stability section of the shoe. So for somebody that's been overpronated, that's rolling inward, typically what's happening is their arch is collapsing, their foot rolls inwards to that point where they're toeing off that big toe. So what this section does here is, because it's denser, when your arch goes to collapse, it acts as a post to keep you up in this neutral position. So if you're an overpronator, you have a flatter foot, this is the type of shoe you're probably looking for. If you're having issues with shin splints, tendonitis, probably the shoe you're looking for. It's not a hard fast rule, but this is usually the way most people are gravitating toward. Definitely, if you're an overpronator, stability shoe is the way to go.
Real quick, because you're talking about the midsole, Kevin.
Yeah.
One thing that my son was notorious for, and you guys shouldn't do, is don't leave these shoes in your car. Okay, because the heat will bake them, and that midsole will break down much faster. And the other thing that, because I had running shoe stores for years, you want to alternate. You don't want to wear the same shoe every day. And you can correct me if I'm misspeaking here, because this is what the shoe companies told me. That white foamy part, the shock absorbent, the softer part that cushions your landing, that EVA, it will compress and then decompress as you're running. It'll do the same thing from day to day. So if you wear the shoe Monday, let it air dry in the shade on Tuesday, then don't put it back on until Wednesday, the shoe actually recovers, and that midsole actually decompresses a bit, right, kind of rebounds. So that's why you want to alternate shoes. I know it sounds funny because it's an inanimate object, but you can overwork a shoe from wearing the same shoe every day. Yeah, it takes about 24 hours for the white EVA foam to get back to its optimal cushioning state. And so what Bob's saying there, unless you're running it the exact same time every day, it's always a good idea to have a couple pairs of shoes that you can alternate. The other good thing about having a couple pairs of shoes is each shoe's built slightly. If you have the exact same shoe, then it's going to be pretty much the exact same shoe. If you have a couple of different shoes, even within a stability category shoe, they're going to be slightly different in the amount of support they give you. So you're going to be able to work a couple of different muscles rather than working the same little proprioceptive or balance muscles every day. It's just going to be slightly different. So you're
you're actually going to help strengthen a few areas that maybe wouldn't be getting strengthened by using the same shoe every day. Second category of shoe we have is a neutral shoe. What you see the difference here is we don't have that big block of dual density foam here. This is a shoe for somebody that has a naturally neutral gait. So like I was saying, they're coming off pretty evenly off the front of the foot, or somebody that is that underpronator. That underpronator, the last thing we want to see in is a stability shoe. Like I said, the stability shoe is got that post in there. It's helping to get that foot up in this neutral position. If you're already in the neutral position or even the supinated position, all that's going to do is push you farther on the outside of the foot, which we're trying to avoid as well. We want to get you as close to neutral as possible. So being in something that doesn't have that support there is what we want to see. We want to try and see that foot roll inwards and get to that neutral position. People that run on the outside of their feet, a lot of times we'll see a lot of issues, especially with IT band syndrome. If you have IT band syndrome, there might be a good chance that you are an underpronator or supinator. Third type of shoe that we have is your performance or your racing shoe. This is bare bones, nothing to it basically. And you can find some racing shoes that have a little bit of medial support. They'll have that little section of dual density foam. Typically, it's unless you're a real big heel striker when you're racing, really not a whole lot of need for a support section in the racing shoe. Most people who are racing are going to be up farther on the forefoot, especially at the level that most of you guys are probably at. So these are going to be bare bones. Like this shoe here weighs about 5 ounces. Most typical shoes are going to be somewhere in the 10, 11, 12 ounce range. Not going to give you a lot of support, and basically this is something that we want to restrict pretty much to interval training, racing, harder type tempo efforts, not an everyday running shoe. And then the newest kind of fad right now is your minimalist shoe, your barefoot shoe, your toe shoe, whatever you want to call it. We have a couple of different minimalist options that we carry, and we're pretty careful with our minimalist shoes and how we recommend them to people. This is not a shoe that you should be doing all your everyday running in. And I know there's a lot of information out there right now that says doing all your running in a barefoot shoe, in a minimalist shoe, is going to strengthen your foot, going to strengthen your arch. There is some validity to it. Getting closer to barefoot is going to do some strengthening for your arch, for a lot of the smaller proprioceptive balance muscles down around the ankle. The problem is from the time you guys started walking, the time you started running, we're put into something like this. It's got either a lot of cushioning, a lot of support. Your foot has adapted to this type of shoe. To all of a sudden just go from that straight down to a minimalist shoe is usually kind of a recipe for injury. So I'm not saying you can't do all your running in it. For some people it works. If you're very efficient, if you are naturally a neutral type runner, if you naturally have a strong foot, strong balance muscles, then you can get away with something like this. We typically recommend a Vibram or a Free as a supplementary tool. When I was training at a high level, I did some barefoot running. The extent of my barefoot running was I do a track workout, I finish the track workout, I jog for a mile or 2 miles on a grass soccer field.